Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Fee and we are back for another video. I just thought I would do something different this week, partly because I am busy traveling, and the other reason is because I really feel that we need to update, or I need to update my get to know me. I have had so many new subscribers over the last several weeks. I think I went from about 15,000 followers, guys, to 18,000 very quickly, like very rapidly. So I just thought it might be a good idea to let you know a bit more about me, the newcomers, and just give you a bit more of insight as to my plans for the channel and, you know, where I want things to go for me and the lovely community that we are. This week, I decided to put a little question box on my Instagram stories, and I got all of these questions, guys. We're not going to answer all of them, but I'm going to try and do my best to answer as many as possible. And I think with answering the questions, I can give you, as I said, a bit more foresight of what is going to come with the channel, how I want it to progress, etc, etc. So yeah, I have answered a few already. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing, but if you do follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen some of the answers, but I haven't answered all of them purposefully because I was hoping to make a video such as this. P.S. I am parked on a road where I think I've only got about 30 minutes to be here, guys.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes.
This is going to be a quick rapid fire answer session. All right, so one of the questions I was asked was, how do you like living in the UK? I dream of moving there to live in a cabin by livestock. How do I like living in the UK? Do you know what? I haven't known anything different. That is one of my, I'd say, biggest, not regrets, but that's one of my biggest things, guys. I got married very, very young. I had children very young. I had my son when I was 16. I got pregnant at 15. So I haven't lived, I'd say, the normal life, i.e. quote unquote, go to school, go to uni, live outside of your home or live away from your parents' home, and then come back home and then get married. I didn't do it that way. I haven't ever lived on my own. I haven't ever lived anywhere else to where I am now, which is in the UK. I did move out of London, which I think was a very, very big change. Growing up in London is very different to growing up where I am now. And, you know, my main reason for doing that was because I felt scared. You know, London was getting a lot more violent. There were a lot more younger children ending up in lives of crime. And I just didn't want that for my son. And I just didn't want him to end up going down the wrong path. So we moved out of London when they were very young. But that's the biggest change that I've ever done. I haven't ever moved or lived outside of the UK. The next question I have is, what made you become vegan? You know what? This is another long one. I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist home. And as Seventh-day Adventists, it is kind of like the norm to follow a vegetarian diet. Not everybody does, but that is the norm. And especially when I was growing up, we were raised vegetarian. So we never ever had meat. I didn't even start to eat meat until I was about 15. 14, 30, something like that, guys. I tasted my first piece of chicken. I remember I was at school, and, you know, being black and never eating chicken seemed to be a crime in those days. And one of my friends said to me, you know, just try chicken. And obviously, you know, the best piece of chicken I could try at that point was the canteen chicken. So I think I had a chicken drumstick or something like that, guys. And it didn't taste bad. And after that, I just started to slowly try different meats. My mum always scared me and said to me that if you ever eat meat when you get older, you know, you're probably going to have a really bad reaction to it because your body's not used to it. But that didn't happen. I started to eat a lot of like white meats, so like chicken, turkey. I did try pork, but it wasn't really my thing. And I tried like red meat. I tried mince meat, which was fine, but I didn't really get on with the whole steak thing. So I think for about 20 years, I'd say I was following a, you know, lean meat kind of diet. Didn't have everything. I didn't eat seafish, shellfish, Lord of God. But where else is the fish theme? Where else is the fish? I didn't eat shellfish, but I did eat, you know, like white meat in abundance, you know. So then after my marriage broke down and things were really hard for us financially, I then decided to cut back on the meat because it was just a lot of money to buy meat for me and the children. At that time, the money was scarce. So I started to eat less meat. The children were still eating meat, but I started to eat less meat. I started to, you know, cut back on my portions, and then they started to eat less meat. Only my son was like, no, I need my meat. So I continued to buy it for him. The girls both transitioned to vegetarianism. You know, Jada's recently gone back and started eating meat actually. But yeah, myself and Nevaeh are still vegetarian. I would say I'm the only one who would be following close to the vegan lifestyle. I'm plant-based, but Nevaeh still eats cheese, she drinks milk, she still has chocolate, all that stuff. So it's only really me who follows it. And I'd say the reason why I've gradually just cut it out, it's not really a financial reason anymore. It's just because I genuinely do not like the taste of meat. Like whether I'm rich or poor, I probably wouldn't still eat meat because it is expensive for what it is. And there are so many other cheaper protein sources that you can get and that are also better for you, in my opinion. So that's the reason why. Another question, will you be doing budgeting videos on YouTube soon? If you're a creator watching this, I don't know if you've ever had this happen yourself, but I always feel like when I do one type of content, then someone asks me to do another type of content. When I do that type of content, then someone will ask me to do another type of content. So I feel like I can't really win. I try to do a mixture of all things. As you know, I've definitely gone away from cash stuffing. Like I haven't cash stuffed publicly for ages now, probably over a year. I don't think I'm ever going to be a cash stuffer on YouTube again. Sorry, purely because for my safety now, and I think as my channel and my pages have grown, I wouldn't want people to know or have any idea of what cash, if any cash, is kept in my home. So I don't cash stuff publicly anymore. I wouldn't call myself a cash stuffer, but I definitely do budget, and I do try to share as much of my budgeting process as possible. But my whole channel is more about living on a budget. So that is what I show you, like my day-to-day of living on a budget. It is very much a normal lifestyle. I'm not doing anything that is far out of the norm of what everyone else does. It's just that I am mindful of how I spend my money. So it isn't about necessarily every minute talking about budgeting. It's just more about seeing the impact that budgeting has had on my life. I hope that makes sense. I hope. Okay, someone else said, are you a Seventh-day Adventist? Well, I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist home, and I would say that I still follow, or I have been following, and I will continue to follow a lot of the Seventh-day Adventist doctrines, but I have been kind of like shying away from giving myself any title in regards to denomination, guys. Not because I am embarrassed or anything like that, or that I'm ashamed, or that I am covertly any denomination, but purely because I think it is divisive. I think when someone says that they are a particular denomination, I think straight away the person who's asking that question has a mindset about who the person is, what they do, what they are. And I think it doesn't actually bring unity, which is what the body of Christ should be all about. It shouldn't be about what denomination you are. It should be about, you know, what do you practice and preach? What do you do? And I think for me, you know, I will talk to you regardless of whatever your beliefs are, to be honest. I don't sit there and say, you know, are you a Christian? Are you this? Are you that? I will talk to whoever, whenever, but I think it's about how I treat them as a person. I feel like it's all about how you treat people individually. And you know, denominations have been set up purposefully for us to be divisive. There is no gaining from saying or stating what denomination you are, other than to make people aware that you don't believe what they believe, and that maybe, you know, you may not want to hang around with them because of their beliefs, you know. So that's just how I see it. Okay, we had 2 of these questions, guys. So we had 2 dating questions. One of them was like, are you dating? The other one was like, do you think you'll ever date again? Do I look lonely? Don't answer that. I mean, to be honest, guys, I blatantly, for years and years, I've said I would never, ever, ever be in a relationship again. For years and years and years. Some wounds cut deep, okay? Some wounds have cut deep. So because of that, I was adamant I would never be in a relationship again. I've got my children, like, you know, I've got my home. I just didn't feel the need to end up in a relationship. Have I changed from that? Slightly, in the sense that I'm not actively looking for anyone. I'm not pursuing anyone. I'm not pursuing the idea of it. If tomorrow was my last day on earth and I ended up single, it's not scaring me. The idea of living on my own for the rest of my days on earth does not frighten me, doesn't scare me at all. If God, because I am surrendering my will to him daily, as you can see, I try to surrender my will to him daily. If his plans are different to mine, I would be open to it. Does that make sense? So am I actively looking for a husband? No. Am I actively dating? No. Do I want to date? No. If God says this man, blah, 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 then that's a different story. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not looking for that. So I hope that answers your question. Do you cope with sticking to your routines when you're ill? Do you still do what you do every day? I've had so many like variations of this question. Some people say, oh, you know, do you ever have a lie-in? Do you always wake up at 4 a.m.? Do you always go to bed at 8:30? Yes. And I say that loosely because it's like saying to me, do you always brush your teeth? Yeah, I do always brush my teeth. But are there days when I haven't brushed my teeth? Yes. Is it a regular set? No. I always brush my teeth. I always wash my face. I always have a shower. These are normal things that I show you. The only difference is that if I was ill, why would I get up at 4 a.m.? Why would I even be thinking about my time of getting up? You know, when you're ill, I think all things change. You know, you're not going to be staying in bed all day if you're not ill. Whereas if I was ill, I would allow myself to stay in bed. So my routine is as concrete as me brushing my teeth every day and having a shower. It is as concrete as that. Are there days when I don't want to do it? Absolutely. Do I do it anyway? Yes, because I've tried to be disciplined in my routine. I'm trying. I'm not perfect. There are definitely days where I don't want to do it and I don't do it. But the majority, I'd say, I wouldn't even say majority, you know, I haven't woken up later than 5 o'clock in the last, at least, I'd say 7 months, guys. So, you know, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I haven't been ill. Thank God I haven't been ill. So I haven't had to put that to the test. But yeah, my routine is very much as cemented as any other part of your day would be. Okay, someone says, I'm questioning my faith. I think that I believe in God, but I am still so unsure. What do I do? I think that we can't even question our faith without God giving us the ability to do so. I think that you can't even desire to question your faith without God. So if you're questioning something, it means you need to find the answers. If you're questioning your faith, you need to find why you're questioning it. What are you questioning? And the only way we get these answers is through prayer and through studying the word. You know, there's nothing to be ashamed of to be questioning your faith or questioning your belief in Christ. The good thing about him though is that he will always confirm to you what you need to believe in. Like, he will always tell you the answers. That is what I've found. If you pray and you are earnestly seeking him, he will respond. So he will give you all the confirmation you need, all the answers you need if you are looking for them, you know. That's one thing I'll say. Someone else said, how do you stay consistent in reading and studying the Bible? Again, it's part of my routine. Was I reading and studying the Bible before I started this routine? Absolutely not. How many times a week was I reading it before? Maybe once a week if I'm lucky, right? These type of things like reading the Bible, praying, studying the word, guys, they do not come natural to me, you, or anybody else. It isn't a natural thing. We are naturally selfish. We are naturally undisciplined. We are naturally fighting change. We don't want to change. We want to be lazy and dormant. That's what we want as humans. But to do all these other things, to surrender your will, to do the will of God, it takes change and it's hard. And not everybody wants to do that. The easiest way for you to make it part of your day-to-day is to incorporate it into your routine, just like you brush your teeth, just like you wash your face. Are there days when you can't be bothered? Of course, but you do it anyway because you don't want your teeth to fall out your head. You know, your breath, you do it anyway. And it's the same with the word. You're not a bad person because you don't want to study the Bible. You're not a bad person because you don't want to read the Bible. You would naturally not want to read it, which is why you have to pray and ask God to give you strength to actually read it, because we don't want to do these things in of ourselves, you know? Someone said, what do you do for fun behind the camera? What truly brings joy to you? And it's funny because I didn't have a hobby for so long, guys. I watched a video, I think I told you this before, I watched a video on TikTok and it says, your life is boring because you don't have any hobbies. That is the truth of the matter. For me, I didn't realize my life was boring because I was just used to doing what I was doing. But my life had become very boring and sedentary, guys, because it was just about work, and work. You know, until I started to incorporate hobbies like my snowboarding, you know, finding joy in reading and digging into the word, like until I incorporated hobbies like that, my life wasn't as fulfilling. So I'd definitely say top tier is snowboarding. It's definitely one of my newest hobbies. Again, does it come naturally? No, I still have to be disciplined with it. But now I really do enjoy it. So I'd say snowboarding, going away and visiting countries, traveling is definitely like a hobby for me. I love it. Obviously, I can't do that every day. I do like going on adventures and, you know, exploring new places. That is another one of my hobbies. Another question, actually, this has come up quite a few times. How's mum? How is mum? Haven't seen your mum in a while. How's mum? My mum is brilliant. And you know what? I feel like since I have had my car, my content with my mum has gone down, which it would do, because the only time you were really seeing her, guys, was when we went shopping. So now that I shop on my own, she doesn't need to travel 20, 30, 40 minutes away from her house to come and take me shopping. Maybe you joined the channel, maybe you started to watch my content when I started to blow up, which was when I was shopping with my mum. If you've been following me for a long time, you'll know that she hasn't always been on the camera. You know, it's only because we were going through a period of time where, you know, money was really tight. I couldn't get to the shop because I didn't have a vehicle, and she kindly helped me out. So it would have been natural, in my opinion, for her to no longer do that role. Mum is good. Someone said, what kind of teacher were you in your previous life? So I was previously a chemistry teacher. I was a science teacher. I taught GCSE science. So from the ages of 11 to 16. Do I miss teaching? No and yes, because I don't miss teaching as in like a classroom setting and, you know, with the politics of being a teacher in the UK, but I do miss sharing knowledge. But I feel like, you know, God is so good, guys. He is so, so good, because never would I have thought that the teaching skills that I have acquired through teaching for the amount of years that I did would come in so clutch while I am doing my devotions. Like now we're doing the deep dives and we are doing the devotions in the morning. I feel like I'm getting into my teacher bag, and it's kind of like, you know, scratching that itch that I would have if I wanted to maybe attempt to go back into a school. Like I feel like I'm being fulfilled in that area. Someone else said, can we see more of your cooking and recipes and Sabbath prep, please? And the answer is yes. I will be sharing more cooking, more of everything. Again, once I do one thing, people say they miss something else. Do you know what I mean? Like once you cater to one person, someone else says, well, why have you stopped doing that? So, you know, I hope you see how it's hard to kind of like please everybody, guys. One person wants you to do budgeting, the other person wants you to do cash stuffing, the other person wants you to do more cooking videos. I feel like I try to do a balance of all of these things on my pages as much as I can, you know? Oh, someone said, what do you like the most about yourself? That is interesting. What do I like the most about myself? One thing I like about myself is that I may moan, guys. I may moan. I may kick and scream. I may, you know, have a tantrum, but I'm going to do it. Like, I literally am going to do it. I may moan. I may kick and scream. I may have a tantrum. I may kick all the toys out the pram, but I'm still going to do it. And I think sometimes I don't feel like that's a good enough skill. Like I even say to myself, you know, why don't you just do it without kicking and screaming? Why don't you just do it without the moaning? Why don't you do it without the tantruming? At least I'm doing it. And someone said it to me the other day. Someone actually said it to me the other day, and it made me think, actually, you're right. And I need to stop being so hard on myself. Sorry, I keep looking around because of where I'm parked. You know, I need to stop being hard on myself, guys. I do it. And that is a good thing. Regardless of what it is, regardless of what the request, I will still do it. You know, I kick and scream. I'm working on that, but I will still do it. And I think that just shows how like reliable I am in that sense. So I do like that. I think I am reliable. I'm loyal when it comes down to it. And I think loyalty is a good trait to have. I'm not perfect though. I'm not perfect, guys. But anyway, I really do hope you've enjoyed this little Q&A. I will be sending this up and posting it for this Sunday. Yeah, but let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any more questions, guys, because this was a Q&A for Instagram, really. So YouTubers, let me know if you have any more questions that you want me to answer, and I will answer them in the comment box below. But yeah, thank you for spending your Sunday with me. Have a good day. Bye, guys.